potential. So it's on, it's happening, be a part of it. All right. So today, though, we're going to negotiate peace. That is the topic, because conflict resolution is a skill set that we can all learn and we can all master. And it can also serve as a form of transformation. So I'm going to start with a reading from the book, The Way of Tenderness Awakening. And we have, down through the ages, developed many means to attempt to heal, to mend, and to atone. Atone for our actions. Yet, while our spiritual paths have assisted us, our aspirations to be better may be inadvertently hindered. To be good, people tend to bypass the messiness of our lives to enter the gate of tranquility. Can the gate of tranquility really be as we imagine it? No matter which way we approach peace, it seems we must cross the burning threshold of human conditioning to enter it. So, before we leap, we must cross the burning threshold. How do we do that? We are true to our essence. We're true to spirit. So why not start where we are as human beings? We must carve a path through the flames of our human conditioning. We must see it for what it is and what it is not. We must bow to it. Not a pitiful bow, but a bow of acknowledgement. Acknowledging the human condition means that we acknowledge that we might not know how to end hatred, hostility, and violence as human beings. And I'm adding that it's all learned behavior. And if we set our intention, we can be peace in every step. So the mantra, inhale world. Let's do that. Inhale world. Exhale peace. I don't know if you all have heard that, but we do that oftentimes when we have our gatherings at CSO. And it serves as a profound reminder that the peace that we wish to see must begin with ourselves. It emphasizes the true peace can only be from the abundance of peace that we have resident within us. When we highlight the importance of individual transformation, we are helping to achieve global harmony. This principle is relevant today, especially where world leaders often advocate for peace while simultaneously engaging in arms sales. To genuinely foster peace, we must recognize that conflict is not merely an external phenomenon, but a reflection of our inner discord. And I'm going to be honest with you. When I'm not peaceful, it's usually something going on within me, and so what comes up comes out, right? And so that is a sign to me when I am impatient, irritable, that if I don't want to receive that back, then I need to go into my upper room. I need to be still. I need to be quiet. I need to get centered so that what I put out, I get back. And that's the law, is it not? Yeah. So in this philosophy, the science of mind, it highlights the deep connection between our inner state of being and our external reality. It teaches that our thoughts are powerful forces shaping our experiences. Therefore, resolving conflicts is more than a tactical process. It becomes a spiritual practice that aligns with harmony, love, and unity. When we nurture thoughts of love and peace, we contribute to a collective consciousness of harmony, whereas negative emotions like fear and anger, they perpetuate division. The lyrics, "Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me," captures the science of mind philosophy perfectly. It reminds us that while global peace is a significant challenge, it starts with personal inner transformation. And by focusing on ourselves, being aware of ourselves, practicing forgiveness, displaying empathy, and demonstrating compassion, we foster inner peace, which then radiates outward, inspiring others and creating a ripple effect of harmony. So let's talk about negative versus positive peace. Did you know there was such a thing? Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. used to talk about this all the time, and he would make the distinction between the negative and the positive peace. He offered a profound perspective on conflict resolution and societal change. Negative peace refers to the mere absence of violence or conflict, a situation where tensions might be suppressed, but underlying issues remain unaddressed. This form of peace can be fragile, as it does not necessarily resolve the root causes of the conflict. It's a state where problems are temporarily quieted, but go without resolution. So in contrast, positive peace involves a deeper, more substantive transformation of relationships and societal structures. It's characterized by justice, equality, and the proactive promotion of well-being for all individuals. Positive peace seeks to address the underlying causes of conflict, such as systemic injustices and social inequalities, and aims to build a foundation of equity and mutual respect. Positive peace often looks different from our traditional spiritual view of peace because it involves setting clear boundaries, holding individuals and systems accountable, and driving meaningful change. This form of peace requires active engagement and action, addressing underlying issues and implementing solutions which can initially set off some feelings, right? Or may come across as being confrontational, but ultimately leads to deeper, more lasting harmony that isn't reliant on any individual group or oppression. The interconnectedness of inner and outer peace. Our own ability to connect with our inner peace profoundly influences our external experience. We all have internal conflicts from time to time. Is that truth? Especially, you all, when we have unresolved emotions, when we have personal turmoil. Oftentimes it manifests in our, as I mentioned earlier, our interactions with others, our relationships with the people who are closest to us. It's more pronounced. The closer you are to a person, the more intently you may act out. And then the other, of course, is subject to it. And it all comes from our unconscious behaviors and habits. Conversely, cultivating inner peace can transform how we handle conflicts, fostering harmony and constructive communication in our relationships and communities. So those of you, and I'm sure everybody did, so you're going to say yes if I ask you, or if I ask you to raise your hand. I'm not going to do that, but I'm saying if I did, you would say yes. You read the bylaws, and you understand that there is a section at the end that deals with conflict resolution. That's not a part of CSL's bylaws. I brought that in. Why? Because I know that conflict is inevitable. And even in spiritual community, conflict is inevitable. And so I think that we need to have a process, and we have a way for resolving those conflicts. So that was my addition. What are conflicts? They're simply disagreements. And because we're all individual expressions of God, we're not going to see the world in the same way. I do not have the same worldview as anybody in this room. Even those people who are closest to me, we see things differently. We're shaped and influenced by our own lived experiences. And because of that, the potentiality for conflict is always present. So yes, our bylaws include this process for resolving conflict. And I implore you to read them and read them and read them. And when you find yourself in disagreement with someone here at the temple, or even in your own families, you have a process that you can adhere to. So what is that process? What I say is go into the secret place of the Most High first, so that when you speak to the other person and you speak your truth, and I'm saying your truth because they have their truth, someplace in the middle, maybe you all can find some common ground. Yes? So go within first and spiritually discern What am I going to say next? What do I want as an outcome from this conversation? And I'm going to tell you this, don't expect that other people are going to change their behavior just because you're asking them to, or you're saying this is how I feel. All you can control is who? Yourselves. It's a hope and it's an expectation. So you communicate that. And depending on the relationship, the value placed upon that relationship, people may elect to show up differently. But if not, then you have to do what? You have to learn to respond differently. Not react, but rather respond. And I believe in the power of negotiation, you all. And most of the time, people think of negotiations in terms of business dealings and affairs. No. By definition, negotiation is give and take. So negotiate solutions. If I do this, will you do that? Yes. If I do this, will you do that? That is a negotiation. And you know what? Our children are socialized at very, very early ages to negotiate with us. You all heard about Nora, right? My granddaughter, Nora. I talked about her in the last time I spoke. She is a very effective negotiator. Nora, 3 books, and we go to bed. 3 books, Dora the Explorer, and then we go to bed. No, Nora, how about 2 books and Dora the Explorer, and we go to bed? And she'll say, that's a deal. She hears her father on the phone all the time talking about deals. That's a deal. So the point is that negotiation is not some big only tool that is used in business. Negotiation starts at very, very early ages, and we should use these negotiations in our conversations, in our disagreements with each other. It's about bending, not breaking. It's about giving and receiving. So you may not get 100% of what it is you want, but if you get 60% of what you want and the other party gets 60%, I mean, that's common ground, that's compromised, and the likelihood is greater is that the resolution will be sustainable over time. Conflict resolution can be a spiritual practice. And the way that that happens, of course, is we go within first, as I mentioned. We get grounded and centered. We get clear about what it is that we want. We get clear about why we're even having a reaction to what the other person did or what the other person said. That's where I go first. Sufi practice. Why am I having reaction to this statement? So that gives me a clue that there's probably something that needs to be healed within me because I'm reacting to something external to me. And the final analysis is all about us anyway, is it not? Yeah. So our motto in the Science of Mind, and you see it on our magazine, a philosophy of faith, a way of life. If we truly live our lives in accordance with our principles, we can foster small-scale peace in every situation. And through practices like mindfulness, self-awareness, and empathic communication, that can ripple outwards, impacting larger societal and global issues. When we address internal conflicts and nurture a sense of calm and understanding within ourselves, we create a foundation for peaceful interactions. Localized peace, meaning peace begins with me, can inspire and influence those around us, contributing to a broader cultural shift in the environment through harmony and cooperation. So lastly, I want to talk about the role of personal responsibility in achieving positive peace. Personal responsibility is foundational to our teaching and to achieving positive peace. It involves an active and conscious commitment to cultivating harmony and the resolution of conflicts. This requires that we acknowledge our own contributions to the discord. What did I do that created this or added to this disagreement or to this conflict? That's where the self-awareness comes in. It also requires us to engage in more self-reflection, being cognizant of our words, our attitudes, our posture, our facial expressions. Mine give me away, I have to admit that. I was in board meeting the other night and somebody told me, uh-oh, she's getting angry. And I'm like, well, how does she even know? I haven't even said anything. And she said she's got these wrinkles in her forehead. So even our body language, you all, contributes to what we actually express outwardly. And our bodies register how we're truly feeling before the mind catches up in a lot of situations. So by owning our own part in conflicts and striving for personal growth, striving to be better, striving for excellence, we can contribute to creating a more peaceful and equitable world. Personal accountability and responsibility, they extend beyond our self-awareness. They encompass taking into account the other people. It's about mutual respect. It also is about upholding our values, those things that we say we value. We should be living those values of fairness, respect, understanding, compassion, and empathy. And this might involve setting and maintaining some healthy boundaries, holding ourselves accountable, and advocating for positive change in our relationships. So the call to action is this. We must recognize that creating positive peace involves ongoing commitment and vigilance. It's not a one-time achievement, but a continual process of nurturing and sustaining harmony. When we engage in practices like empathic listening, and I borrowed this, you all, from the Jesuits. I grew up Catholic. St. Francis of Assisi espoused in the 13th century to seek first to be understood and then understand. I said that wrong. Seek first to understand and then be understood. Stephen Covey made it popular, but it was St. Francis of Assisi that espoused that. So what that means is we slow the process down. We listen first to others. We read their body language, right? And then we adjust accordingly. And the person who knows bears more of the responsibility for bringing about the solution. We know. We've studied the teachings. Now we have to live the teachings. So the responsibility and the onus is largely upon us. So by actively participating in and supporting initiatives that bring about fairness, justice, equity, mutual respect, we become a broader movement that advances peace on a much larger scale. This collective commitment helps us to build stronger, more resilient communities and paves the way for transformative change, leading to a more peaceful world for everyone and everything. So also pulling from my Catholic upbringing, you all, the priest would always say to us, "Peace be with you," and there was a response. Anybody know it? Thank you very much. So peace be with you. Now I need you to say that to two people. Get up, move around. Two different people. Get up, move around. Peace be with you, and mean it. Well, thank you very much, and also you. All right, hopefully you're feeling a little peaceful, a little more peaceful. And so also at the end of our 1 hour masses, the priest would say, "Go in peace." And we would say, "Thanks be to God." Go in peace. And so it is.